Broncos country. It is game day. We have a second primetime game in a row, and we are about 30 minutes from kickoff from your Denver Broncos playing the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday Night Football. I'm ready. I'm stoked. We're on a 3-game win streak. Minnesota's on, I think, a 4 or 5-game win streak. So two of the hottest teams in the NFL right now going against each other here on Sunday night. I'm trying my best Pat McAfee where I'm going to be standing doing the show today. So I'm going to be moving around a lot and having a lot of motion. So hopefully you guys are okay with that. Guys, make sure you guys are posting your questions, comments, concerns for this game here in the comments. And let me know what you think as I am going to rattle off what I think on this upcoming. If you haven't already subscribed to the podcast, David, Spotty, and I went really in depth in the preseason or the pregame podcast. Go ahead and hit that that subscribe button on all your podcast devices. We go really in depth, and a lot of the things I'm going to say today we covered on that. So if you want that ahead of time, make sure you're subscribed to the Orange Weekly pregame podcast. All right, Shane, thanks guys for joining. Let's go Broncos. It's Orange Sunday. Let's go. Andrew, thank you for joining us. Clayton, as always, smash that like button and share this, guys. It's going to be me and you for the next 30 minutes till this kickoff. Let's talk Broncos. All right, Shane, with the first question. Love you coming in hot, man. Our offense, I hope we can get better tonight than the last game. 100% agreed. Our defense, weirdly, we had this I'd call it mid-season, but after the first 7 games, we just switched, and all of a sudden our defense is playing better, way better, thank God. And our offense has been struggling, but we've been doing enough to get the wins, and that's what I really want to see. Are we working together? Are we doing the right things together as a team to get the wins? Because that's, at the end of the day, that's really all that matters. We talked about I got yelled at on the Tuesday show. If you guys tuned in, I got yelled at for saying this is a different conversation if we lose the Buffalo game. But we don't need to talk about that. There's no need to talk about that because we won it. So as long as we can put together a full team win and everybody plays together. But I agree. I think our offense needs to step up a little bit. Defensively, Andrew coming in with a great shot. I do think we need to stop Hawkinson. He is on a tear right now. I will say this about Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs is now in his 3rd or 4th start as an NFL quarterback. Again, he's been a journeyman. He's been in and out of other games. We now have enough tape, and I hope VJ, who's been doing a good job the last couple of weeks, has enough tape on him to know what we need to do to stop Josh Dobbs, including stopping Hawkinson. I think if we can stop those two guys, Andrew Addison might have a couple big games, big catches, maybe a couple, things that we're like, come on, man, we need to cover that guy. But if we can stop Hawkinson and we can stop Josh Dobbs from running the ball and getting out of the pocket, then I think we're going to have a much better day. I do think, Andrew, I 100% agree. This crowd is going to go crazy. And I hope that everybody, if you guys are watching, you guys are at the pregame tailgate or getting ready to head into the game, please make sure you guys are as loud as possible, because I think we need to rattle this journeyman quarterback and the Minnesota and show them what Broncos country is all about, because I think people are, especially in Minnesota, are expecting this to be a win. We have a couple good games, but I think this is going to be a really good game for two very hard-charging teams who are really looking to make something different from their season than they have earlier on. Andrew, again, with the Raiders and Chargers both lost. So we're talking about AFC run here. AFC West specifically. Obviously, we beat the Chiefs once. We lost to the Raiders in the first game. We have them again at the last game. We have Chargers twice in the next upcoming games. But this is a big AFC West divisional battle here tonight as we get going into it. So we can now jump up in the stats. We can jump up in the AFC West rankings, the AFC rankings, and see where we go from here. But it really starts tonight. David said it on the pregame podcast. Again, I'm going to bring this up a lot on the pregame podcast. Make sure you're watching and subscribing to those. He said it very, very clearly. This is the game he's going to decide whether or not the Broncos are for real, or if it was just 2 games that we just played well against some teams that might have been struggling in those games. Are we for real? Are we ready to come up, and are we ready to play those games? Are we ready to beat the teams that we need to beat to be able to make it to the rest of the level? KC on Monday night could lose to Philly. That's true. That's a big game for them. Super Bowl rematch. Chiefs going to lose tomorrow. Everyone's saying Eagles going to get the W. Hoping for an Eagles W too. If we can keep that momentum up, and then all of a sudden we're in the AFC West playoff look, not playoff look, but the AFC West look, and we're on a roll. But we really need, we talk about it as a coach. We talk about it all the time to the players. Don't worry about what those other guys are doing. That's going to fall the way it falls. We need to worry about what we do. We need to worry about how we play and what we can do to make sure that we're set ourselves up for success. It's a late Sunday night game. I've been drinking a little bit, guys, so hopefully you guys are too. Cheers. Make sure you guys are commenting below. And so let's see. What else are we thinking? Oh, Minnesota's defense. If you guys don't know, Minnesota blitzes more than any other team in the league. In one of our in the pregame podcast, we mentioned one of the biggest things, my key to the game for this game is going to be that interior defensive line. Ben Powers is back from injury, which is great. I think it's going to be an awesome. Miners is playing very well. He's one of the top guards in the league, and Cushenberry having a great year this year. So if those three can talk on the inside, the outside guys, and Russell Wilson's able to step up in the pocket, I'm expecting them to be able to communicate well enough to stop that blitz from coming and getting Russell Wilson. If we can protect Russell for at least the quick game, we're going to be okay. I do expect Russ to get on his feet a little bit. I expect a couple more rushes that we saw a little bit in the pregame or the preseason. First couple games of the season, we saw Russ using his legs to get some first downs. I'm expecting more of that as well. So just giving you guys a heads up, expect Russ to actually end up not throwing the ball or forcing it, and end up taking off with his legs, hopefully getting a couple first downs for us to keep drives going. And I think that's what's going to continue our drives to get us down at least into scoring field position. Other things we need to focus on. Big things I want to say, Marvin Mims and the special teams, he has been outstanding, and I expect another outstanding performance from him tonight. I think getting the field position is what won us the game against the Bills on Monday night last week. That field position, the turnovers, we had 4 or 5 turnovers against the Bills. And then we also had the big kick returns, punt returns from Marvin Mims. If we can keep that up, and Marvin Mims can keep that up in the special teams, we are going to look so much better. We're going to have much better field position going forward. We said pocket. Yeah, what pocket? Is that what you're saying? Okay, yeah. No, okay. Well, I think we can get a pocket. I think obviously our edges have been Garrett Bowles. He's good for 1 penalty a game. So is the other side. And hopefully we can get them to get out and we can get the pocket. But again, they blitz a lot. So expect a lot of dump offs, expect a lot of short routes. We're probably not going to be able to get the ball downfield as much as everybody would like that we saw in the first couple games, which we lost anyway. But we're not going to be able to get the ball downfield as much as we would like. They have a good safety backfield back there as well. And let me just double check this real quick so I don't mess this up. I had it up already. Bynum and Smith in the backfield and their safeties are going to be up there. Smith's probably going to be loading the box a little bit more, but Bynum is a good safety, so expect that we're not going to be going downfield as much as we'd like unless we can get the corners, the edges. I'm expecting another big game from Cortland Sutton, who has been absolutely amazing for us in the last couple of games. Huge catches in the times that we need it. And I just think that our offense is actually looking pretty good. We just need to get that consistency, and we need to get the ball in the hands of our playmakers. If we can get the ball in the hands of our playmakers and out of Russ's hands as fast as possible, we're going to be successful in this game. And orange covering guys. Love you guys. Hey guys, thank you guys so much for joining me. This is the Tailgate Talk. We do this every game, pre-game. We usually go about an hour. If I'm not by myself, we do it about an hour before. If I'm by myself, I do about 30 minutes. 30 minutes is enough to talk about to talk to you guys just on my own. Defensively, today's Justin Simmons' birthday, if you guys didn't know. So happy birthday, Justin Simmons. Thank you, Justin Simmons, for watching. I assume you're watching before you get ready to go out there and have a good game. Enjoy that game. And happy birthday to Justin Simmons. But our defense is actually looking a lot better. I think our interior defensive line is struggling a little bit to be able to get pressure up in the middle, but our edge rushers have been doing a lot better. Hopefully we can get pressure on Josh Dobbs. I expect defensively to do a lot of what we did against Kansas City and a lot of what we did against the Bills. If any of you guys watched the clips, or if you guys actually watched the Manning cast of last Monday, they had Mahomes on the Manning cast, and Manning cast, he was calling what the defense was going to do. He was like, there's going to be a spy here, and this is what they're going to do against Josh Allen. I think we're going to do the same thing against Josh Dobbs because he is capable of taking off with his feet. And that's a lot of the things. If you've watched any Minnesota games, I've watched, I think 1 or 2 this year. He does take off with his feet to extend drives. What I was saying Russell Wilson should be doing this game. He's taken off with his feet to extend the drives, get the first down. I think we're going to end up putting a spy on him, which is going to be really good for the Denver Broncos defense. The same way we did against Josh Allen and against Pat Mahomes. I think our defense is going to be very similar to the way Pat Mahomes was covered in the Kansas City game. not only for being able to take off with his feet, but the fact that their tight end is really their number one receiver. So I think that's going to be a big part of that. Allison, thank you for joining DB4L. I love it. Denver Broncos for life. Let's go, baby. This is a big game. I know a lot of people talk about it. We probably say it every week, honestly. It's not just us, but every week we talk like, this is the game. This is the one that we need to win. We need to win. But putting together 3 wins in a row against 2 very difficult teams, 2.5. Green Bay just beat the Chargers, which is great. And now we're going into a Minnesota game who's also doing very well and on a roll. If we can win this game, our momentum going forward is skyrocketed even more. David said it. I'm going to say it again. David said it on the pregame podcast. This is the best he's felt about a Denver Broncos team in a long time, and probably 4 or 5 years, like especially at the beginning of the season. We never thought we'd be here after that game that I end up blacking out on. I think we played a Dolphin or something. We never thought we would be here. We never thought as a Denver Broncos fan base that we would be in this situation right now, where if we win this game, we're now talking a completely different, a 500 team that is rolling on a 4-game win streak if we can take it. And we have so much more to look forward to as we go forward. Clayton, always smash that like button. Appreciate you guys. All right, other things we need to talk about. Let's get them a turbocharger. They could use a red. I think this offense has what it takes to be able to produce. I do. But remember, the Sean Payton offense is all about team play. And as a head coach, he's all about team play. Are we going to get the ball and try to score immediately? Or are we going to try to get the ball and keep the ball out of the hands of the Minnesota offense? It really depends on how he plays this. I think our defense is good enough to stop Minnesota. I'm kind of expecting a relatively low-scoring game, and we'll get to our predictions here in just a little bit. So when you guys get ready, make sure you guys are getting ready for your predictions. However, I expect this to be a low-scoring game. I think our defense is going to do well. I think their defense is very blitz-heavy, so there's going to be a couple 3-and-outs. And I know I'm going to be mad. I'm probably going to be throwing some things. Hopefully they're like softballs because I'm in my in-laws' house and I don't want to break anything of theirs. But it's going to be a low-scoring game, I think, and I think that it's going to come down to what defense can have the most turnovers. The turnover battle, now I feel like Madden. Whoever wins the turnover battle is going to win this game. But I really believe that. Whoever gets the better field position in the turnover battle is going to win this game. Back on the ground and pound. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you, Gary. Great channel. Javonte in beast mode. Yeah, Javonte. I'm expecting Javonte. And David's expecting a lot of Pirine. Expect a lot of Samaje Pirine this week. And tonight, here in about 15 minutes, expect a lot of Samaje Pirine in this game, based on their blitz, based on their the packages that they throw on defense. And yeah, I think Javonte Williams is going to have a big game. Ground and pound, chew up the clock. Russ is going to let it go. Yeah, they're going to play man. They're going to play man blitz. It's very similar to defense we used to run, where it's just man blitz, and we're going to beat you man on man, and you better find the guy. I expect a big game from Courtland Sutton because of the man on man position. And even Jerry Jeudy, he can get that separation. The reason we drafted him in the first place is he's able to get the separation that a lot of wide receivers can't get. So I think they're going to be focusing a lot on that. A lot of quick slants, quick outs, maybe a little bit of deep posts, depending on how they play, if they play too high or single high safety. It would be nice. See, this is Steve. I mentioned this. I appreciate this comment because I've mentioned this a couple times. It'd really be nice if after halftime in like the third quarter, we can just sit back, drink our whiskey and just say, man, this is a good game. I'm just so happy we are where we are. So I'm here at my in-laws' house and watched the Cowboys game with my brother-in-law. Granted, they played the Carolina Panthers, who are 1 in whatever now. But it was nice. They was just watching. He was like, I feel comfortable. Like, I feel comfortable with this game. I feel comfortable where this game is going. It'd be nice as a Denver Bronco fan to be able to watch that once. I don't think it's going to be that game tonight, but I am hoping for it. Absolutely. Concern that we might be flat after Monday's win. That's an interesting concern, Andrew. I get it, but I don't think so. I think that the motivation is there. That the communication, which I feel like has been a big missing piece in the first half of the season, is going to be there, and that's something that we've been missing for a while. We've had a lot of head coaching changes. We've had a lot of offensive coordinator changes, defense coordinator. We've had a lot of changes over the past 7 years. And the communication piece is what's big, changing playbooks, changing all that. But I think they're finally starting to get a hold of all of it. We're not having as many mistakes. We're not having many missed coverages, not a lot of missed plays. Delayed games have been less. So I think that they're finally clicking on the same page. Let's see what we got. We got about 15 minutes till kickoff, guys. So keep coming with those questions, comments, and concerns about what you're thinking for this game on Sunday Night Football. Another big stage. We did well on the big stage. I'll tell you what, as a Bronco fan going into work the next day, last week, a lot of people were like, hey, we watched that game. It was a great game last week. It was a great game last week. It was a great game. And I was like, have you watched any of the Broncos before that? And they're like, absolutely not. So again, I'm on the West Coast, so it's a little bit different, but it's another primetime game. There's going to be a lot of eyes on this game and a lot of people watching. And if we can do it 2 weeks in a row, people are going to start noticing the Denver Broncos as a legitimate football team in the NFL. So hopefully we keep improving. I think Surtain will shut down Addison. I agree. I think Addison's a good rookie wide receiver, and I think he's decent. The fact that Jefferson is out this week really helps our case. It does look like Madison, who hasn't been playing very well as a running back, is going to be active for this game. He was kind of questionable going up into it, but he will be active for this game. So it's another playmaker that they haven't really been utilizing this season, but he's a playmaker that could always break open a big play. But I think we finally figured out our secondary. I think Moreau is doing very well opposite Surtain, and I think we'd be able to shut down. And again, with Justin Simmons back there, Kareem Jackson back from his suspension. We'll see what he does depending on if we load the box, how he goes in there, and hopefully we can minimize the penalties on defense specifically so that we can stop their drives. Steve, cheers. Appreciate it, brother. Go Broncos as always. So as we're going into this game, start posting your I see a couple in there. Start posting your predictions for this game. At the end of the year, we do a giveaway for anybody who gets it right. And if you get it right, make sure you message us because it's really hard to go back to all these and check them. But if you get it right, make sure you're hitting us up and letting us know that you got it right. I think my prediction, was 27. I think it was 23-14 or 23-17, something like that for the Denver Broncos. I think they're going to get one big play. Unfortunately, the Denver Broncos are always good for giving up one big play, one touchdown that you're just like, man. And in the Monday night game, it was that long drive that they didn't throw once. It was all running, a lot of missed tackles on that drive. But there's always going to be one play that we're going to be like, man, I wish we could have that back. But I do think the Denver Broncos can fight this one out, and I think that we're clicking on all cylinders. Our team is working together for the first time in a long time, and I do think that we can win this game. Let me go back to some of these other score predictions. Let's see. Andrew says 23-17, very similar to what I said. 28-14 Clayton on the thing, very similar. Again, if it's 28-14, 23-17, and we have the lead the whole game, it's going to be much easier for us on our hearts. For those of you that are worried about our cholesterol in our hearts, that's definitely a big one. But yeah, definitely. Let's see. Gary, he's thinking 21-10 Broncos. It's another one. If we go 21-10, that'd be awesome. If we can beat them 21-10 and keep the lead the whole time, it'd be nice. Andrew's thinking closer, 24-20. In the pregame podcast, if you listen to it, both Spotty and David said it's going to come down to one last drive, whether it's our defense or their offense, or our offense or our defense having to score to be able to win the game. But it seems like everybody in Broncos country is on the same page. Like if we're in a completely different spot than we were 4 weeks ago. It's crazy. Like it seems like yesterday, 4 weeks ago, I would never have said like if the ball was in our hands or if the ball was in their hands to win the game, I just don't feel like we could do it. But we're a different team now. It's crazy how 4 weeks can change so much. They're finally working together. As Ayla would say it, that we're gelling. And we're finally working together to be able to do that. So I think that there's a lot of motivation going in there for the Broncos to be able to win it out if we do have the ball in our hands or if the ball's in their hands at the end of the game. So really appreciate you guys. Steve, I love it. We play a complete game. We finally put it all together, offense and defense, special teams, everything. We win 31-10. And it's just a smooth ride, and we're just sipping whiskey and watching this game through the rest of the night and going to work tomorrow. Super happy and super excited that we won a game that really means a lot to Broncos country, and what it means for the rest of the season is a big one. So, yeah, let's see, Andrew. Appreciate it. Vikings can't run the ball well except for Dobbs. Contain defense is important. Yeah, like I said, we mentioned that, Andrew. I 100% agree. I think containing Dobbs and containing Hawkinson is going to be our focus for this game. If Addison gets a couple big catches, Addison gets a couple of big catches, and it's fine, and we just kind of move on. That bend don't break mentality on defense is kind of VJ's mentality, and we've been doing it pretty well for the past. And I think that just containing Dobbs from taking off of his feet to control the drives, stop the drives from getting long, stop the third and medium, stop the third and longs when we put him in that. So, Chris, appreciate it. Let's go Denver. Thank you for joining us. Big test tonight, Angelo. Appreciate you joining us, man. Yeah, this is it. Like this is the game to show us as Broncos country and the rest of the league, really, like we're talking 2 primetime games in a row, the rest of the league, that we're a legitimate football team that is capable of taking on the powerhouses and moving on. Now, I'm not saying Minnesota is a powerhouse by any chance, but Minnesota or Kansas City, Buffalo, both of them are considered, top in the AFC, and Minnesota is considered a playoff team, and they're looking very good. So this is that time to show, like, hey, we can do it. We can be consistent. It's not flukes. We have a team that can be able to control the ball and win games when we need to win games. And that's what good football teams do. And I think I'm there, guys. I know, I think a lot of you guys are there. I'm there. We're a good football team. We had a rough start, but we're a good football team that's finally putting it together. And we just need to prove it tonight. And that's really what it comes down to. And I think the Broncos, the fans, the team, the coaches, they're all on the same page. This is the game to show that they have what it is. No Justin Jefferson. Yeah, Chris, no Justin Jefferson tonight, which is huge. I think he was active, fully healthy on Friday's practice, but they decided that they're going to give him another week to rest up. I don't know what that says. I don't know if that means that says that they're like where we've been doing okay without Justin Jefferson as it is, because they have been last 4 or 5 or 3 or 4 games that they've been without Justin Jefferson. They've been winning. So I think this is one of those, like, we're just going to give them a little bit more time to heal up because they're going to need them later in the season. Or it means like, hey, it's just the Broncos. We could do without. So we'll see how that works out for them at the end. Whiskey of choice. So right now I'm drinking stuff that you can only get from Mexico, unfortunately. But Bucanas is what I'm drinking today. And if you guys haven't checked it out, I normally drink the Breckenridge whiskey. It's so good. I have it ordered to my house because I'm in California, so I can't just get it at the grocery store. But if you guys are checking them out, so super good whiskey. Doing the whiskey and Coke thing right now. So, yeah. So Gary with the thing, playoff maybe. I'll tell you this. This game is going to be the deciding factor. And if we win this game, first of all, I don't know if we're going to do it or not. I'll be here at halftime. Doing the halftime hash to talk to you guys about what we saw in the first half, what the changes we're going to need to do in the second half, or if we're doing well, we just sit here, drink, and celebrate that we did well in the first half. Playoffs, I think, is a discussion for Tuesday night show. So make sure you guys are checking out Bourbon Broncos No BS on Tuesday night, because we'll have a huge discussion on playoff implications depending on how this game goes. If this game, I'm not saying if we lose this game, we're completely out of it. However, we need to win in the rest of our games. I think we only get like maybe 2 or 3 losses before we're just out of the playoff pictures totally. And it would just suck to have it this early. But I think we'll talk about that for sure. This game is going to be a big implication on whether or not we get a wild card spot or not. And that's a huge one. Let's see. Broncos blend from Breckenridge Distillery. Absolutely. I think that's the one I order. At first it came with the Broncos logo, I think there, Gary. So, it's so good. It's so smooth. Make sure you guys are checking it out. Yep. So game time's kicking off here in about 5 minutes. If I'm looking at my clock right, you guys are probably watching the game. I don't have a TV in here, so you guys let me know when kickoff is, so I can go ahead and check that out. But yeah, definitely appreciate you guys joining me. Make sure you're here for halftime. I'll be here at halftime to breaking down what we saw in the first half, and then depending on how the game goes and how the rest of the crew is feeling, we might be here after. No promises. But we'll definitely be here Tuesday night at Bourbon Broncos No BS here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, I think we're on Twitch. We're all over the place. So make sure you guys are subscribing so that you get the notifications when we go live. And we will absolutely bring you all the best takes here in Broncos country and how we're feeling about all that. It looks like Carrie Underwood singing the Sunday night song. I would do it for you just as a heads up, but So unfortunately, here, Gary, that's a good point. So I'm doing this solo because literally everybody else is at the game. I just happen to not be in Denver right now. So everybody else is at the game and they're going to be cheering their asses off at this game. And they're so excited. And I know Kevin told me earlier, he said they're all super stoked for this game. And they're all Kevin is at the tailgate, the actual tailgate right now. And he's probably in his seat by this point, but everyone is super excited. This place is going to be loud for this Sunday night game. And I'm so excited for it. Hopefully that it's a Seahawks thing, but the 12th man really in that crowd can rattle up Josh Dobbs a little bit. And maybe we can get a couple stops or a couple mistakes from him based on what the crowd's doing. Because look, we've had a rough 7 years, but I'll tell you what, the one reason I love doing this show, the one reason I love talking to you guys is because Broncos country is so good, regardless of how we're doing, regardless of where we're at, regardless of what's going on. Broncos country is always strong, regardless of what's going on. So tonight, regardless of what we've done for the last 7 years, this is what's happening. So guys, thank you so much for joining me. It looks like the game's getting ready to go. Carrie Underwood saying national anthem's probably going, and it looks like this game is about to kick off. Make sure you're joining us back here at halftime. I will be here. Make sure you're following the channel, subscribing. Go on to the all your podcast listening. Make sure you're subscribing to the podcast as well. And we will be back here at halftime and again on Tuesday. Thank you guys so much. And as always, go Broncos.